David Young is on a three-man team.
And as you can tell, I'm in such a good mood tonight. You don't see that piece of trash sitting that Scotty Red around. But you know why? You know why? Because I'm burned in that. Scotty Red is going for good. But David, we got issues here tonight. Because there's a little guy running around. Used to be my best friend, you know. But now, we're going to take him out just like we did Scotty Red. I've hired 2 guys to come in tonight to take out him along those pieces of trash for Lost Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the most violent tag team in pro wrestling today, Blackout.
What?
And then to even stack the deck just a little bit better, my special guest referee for the time,
Rick Michaels likes to play with fire, and that's not good. This open floor, it's getting hot in here. The Lost Boys and Rick Michaels, and they don't need a flame to be breathing fire here at the NCW Arena. And tonight, David Young and Blackout have their hands full, and they may be hot hands indeed.
You want a history lesson, Stephen Prazak?
You're about to give me one, huh?
Do you want me to smarten you up about this business?
Ooh, would you please?
Let me explain something to you. In 1997, I started a company named NCW. It was the hardest core, crazy idiots in wrestling today.
True.
David Young, Rick Michaels was 2 of the guys first in line to carry that company. And I want you to know, Rick Michaels has been a personal, long-time friend of mine up until about a year and a half ago when I turned my back in this ring. And I tell you this, Rick Michaels is going to pay the dues that he should have been paying back in 97. Because the only reason he got the spot, you know why? Because he knew me.
Rick Michaels needs to pay his dues? Are you kidding me? That guy has paid dues more than anybody in the locker room here at the NCW Arena.
Has he been set on fire yet?
Just about everything else has happened to poor Rick Michaels in the attempt.
Let me tell you, David Young carried that tag team. David Young's the greatest tag team wrestler in the business, and now I got him paired up with Terry Knight. Terry Knight with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his back, and this man is tougher than nails. You know what he did the next day? He went home, laid back with his lady friend, got a back massage, and he's back, ready for action.
Terry Knight is back. That guy's he's made out of old boots.
He's tough as leather, I tell you, as they say here in the South.
Unbelievable. Has anybody nicknamed him Sparky yet?
Oh, that's just funny. Make fun of guys in the business who put their life on the line to pay your paycheck. That's great, Stephen.
Okay, hey, the point is made. You're getting involved in a flaming tables match, an infernal damnation match. You're going to have to pay the piper. Somebody did, and unfortunately, that night, it was Terry Knight. It's a testament to young Terry Knight for the fact that he's back in the game here at NWA Wildside. But now the former Marky Mark, he's now Azrael, going to town here with one half of Blackout.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Marky Mark doesn't even exist. This kid right here, let me tell you something. He's tough as nails, but tonight, he's in there with the ghetto team named Blackout. Now, I'm telling you right now, they're going to take these Lost Boys and put them underneath this ring and bury them for good.
He's not doing it now. Looks like Azrael doing quite the number on Rainman.
And for God's sake, Stephen, let's talk about Freedom Fight. Did we have a run at Freedom Fight or what? I got rid of that redneck piece of garbage. The one that was a thorn in my side for the longest time. We beat on him and we beat on him, and he was too stupid to quit, so what I did, I just fired his ass. And that's Scotty Red.
You know, normally people involved in the wrestling promoter, whoa, athletes flying over the top. Incredible David Young, the artist formerly known as Twisted, now Gabriel. And Rick Michaels going to town.
You got to keep your eye on these Lost Boys. These guys right here are sadistic.
Yeah,
and I mean, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, you've noticed. An argument here, I think Rick Michaels is probably the king of sadistic here at Wildside. Michaels with 2 chairs. 2 chairs. Uh-oh. It's literally a concerto on the head.
Andrew, for God's sake, do something, man. Andrew Thomas, senior official, the best referee in the business, just standing here, and he can't get control of this matchup.
Well, pretty much everything here at the NCW Arena and NWA Wildside has somewhat turned into a no disqualification. I guess Andrew Thomas is waving that flag. But Steve, Martin, I've always wanted to ask you this question. How do you get your voice to shake like that?
It's a pulse rate, man. You get me all tore up. You get me excited. The next thing I know, my voice is shaking. And my God, if you're making fun of me, I will fire your ass in a heartbeat. I will fire your ass.
You sound like Katharine Hepburn in a helicopter.
Just like I did Scotty Wren. I hate that bastard. Scotty Wren is out of this company forever. Fired, I tell you. And Rick Michaels, he's next on the list.
Rick Michaels is doing quite fine right now, teaming with the Lost Boys. Doing the dirty work, I guess, of the Sinister Minister. Oh, Gabriel draped over the top rope. Rainman, oh dear, Homicide up there doing a number on what's left of Gabriel. Andrew Thomas down, oh, kick out at 2.5. The violence in this company, sure, just blows my mind. This is perhaps the most violent wrestling promotion anywhere on the planet. And I can't help but think that Steve Martin's behind it all.
Stephen Prazak, violence follows me everywhere I go. It started in '97, and if Bill Barron thought he was going to bring that old school crap, the NWA stuff, to my arena, he's crazy because, hey, I love the NWA because their paychecks sure do cash well, and they bought me that big home in Buckhead. But I tell you this, and I tell you this right now, violence will always be a part of Wildside as long as I'm around.
That's true. Violence does, in fact, follow Mr. Wildside, Steve Martin around. David Young now opening up on Gabriel. Gabriel reversing. Young head going into the corner. Gabriel up top. Oh, dear.
That was nice.
No kidding. Unless, of course, you're Gabriel.
David Young, let me tell you something. You're talking about a guy who doesn't get credit for what this guy knows. David Young, probably one of the best wrestlers in the game today. He is absolutely incredible, and he's been overlooked so many times, even though he's former NWA 4-time tag team champion. And for some reason, it's like he's not even around. But I guarantee you one thing, he's around now because he put Scotty Wren out of wrestling forever.
David Young, one of the most violent ever. I recall when this guy was starting up, I remember early on in their career, I remember seeing David Young throw a young Air Paris off the top of a concession stand through a table.
In Air Paris, I hear he's tucked his tail and run to California. He's gone like a thief in the night. He probably stole everything out of the arena before his plane left. Air Paris, what a lowlife, what a piece of trash. But let me say this, Stephen Prazak, I am in the mood to talk about this. Did you see me buck on Scotty Wren? I was going to jump him. I run. I was going to put my fist upside his head. And the next thing I know, I'm being Scotty slammed to hell right there in the middle of the ring.
Well, that's the price you pay. You mess with the ticking time bomb, the now fired Scotty Wren. You're going to pay the price. And that night at Freedom Fight 2001, soon to be available on NCW Home Video, I point out, you will see Steve Martin get his just desserts from the now formerly employed Scotty Wren.
So what are you saying? I deserve that?
You do kind of ask for it, Steve.
Man, I am the most honest man in pro wrestling. When I come out here, I try to rule everything fair and just. And Scotty Wren, he was a redneck, man. He was a rebel without a cause. He comes in here causing all kinds of trouble. But one other issue I got to cover, and I'm going to cover it now, is Rusty Riddle. I got his hair. I got his hair. I shaved him bald, Stephen Prazak.
Yes, you do. Rusty Riddle is now a bald Rusty Riddle. After literally 20 years of growing that long, long hair, it is now gone. And Total Destruction have been quasi-destroyed by, in fact, you and your hired thugs. And that's what they are.
And, Stephen, it was so funny because Total Destruction, they were supposed to be the badasses around here, the people everybody was scared of. And the Coles and I, we walked in, wiped the mat clean with them, shaved Rusty's head, no big deal. We went and ate a snack and drank a bottle of wine.
A quick question, are Total Destruction dead? No, they're not. They're still alive. And as long as their hearts still keep kicking, I would think you and the Cole brothers might need to be a little worried.
When is these guys going to learn, Stephen Prazak? The man, Mr. Wildside, Steve Martin's calling the shots here. I always get my way. The rich get richer, the poor get poor. And just like these idiots at ringside, they're going to understand who the man is because I'm calling the shots, Prazak.
I see. However, these idiots at ringside happen to help pay the salary of you and all the amazing athletes here at NWA Wildside. David Young with a rear chin lock on Gabriel. I'm surprised Gabriel's not dead. He's fighting back. Shows you what these Lost Boys are made of. They are, in fact, made out of old boots. Oh, power slam from David Young. Oh, Gabriel's in bad, bad shape.
And by the way, let me say this. I personally hired Paul C. Parker, my personal attorney, because Jeff's been dropping the ball here of late.
and I've got him. He's going to sue that Scotty Wren because he put his hands on me, man. Firing him's not good enough. I'm going to sue him in a court of law. Let's see him hit me there, and then he'll go to jail for a long, long time, and then I'll never, ever see this man as long as I live.
You know, forgive me, he's no longer employed. Scotty Wren is no longer employed here at Wildside, and he's still driving you right up the wall. He's not even here, and you're already babbling.
I hate him, Stephen. I hate him.
I get that impression. I don't think attorney Paul C. Parker wants to deal with the ticking time bomb. I think Paul C. Parker has got some other priorities right now. Oh, dear. Now it's Rainman going to town on Gabriel. Gabriel thinks otherwise. Andrew Thomas in for an awfully slow count. Could he count any slower?
Oh, that was a fast count in my opinion.
Oh, please.
Did I tell you Andrew Thomas was a personal friend of mine?
You don't have to tell us. It's painfully evident week after week here at Wildside. Also seems to be a good friend of Jeff Bailey, too. Huracan Rana attempt. Oh, here comes Rick Michaels on his former tag team partner, David Young. Hey, Rick Michaels is a one-man tag team on his own.
Stephen, I'm going to go down here and take care of this situation because if I have to, I'm going to fire Rick Michaels' ass right here on television.
Oh, good heavens to Wildside. Get a new one. Steve Martin heading down the ringside. Azrael over the top rope. Rainman going to town on Gabriel and his former tag team partners, Michaels and David Young going to... It's Terry Knight. It's Terry Knight. The born victim, Terry Knight, coming out all bandaged up. Putting the boots now to Rick Michaels. Referee Andrew Thomas calls for the bell. This is obviously a disqualification. Oh, Terry Knight. Back from the dead, back from the cinders, shall we say. Now it's Knight and Young opening up on Rick Michaels as Blackout take care of what's left of the Lost Boys at ringside. Steve Martin gloats. Steve Martin's been gloating a lot recently. Oh, it's Young and Knight just going ape, literally going ape on poor Rick Michaels.
This is enough already.
Crowd dispersing. Blackout just destroying the Lost Boys. Knight and Young. Oh, now look at Steve Martin choking the life of Rick Michaels. Gabriel being thrown into the position, microphone position here, as Azrael and Homicide make that Rainman going at it at ringside.
Oh, dear Lord. Homicide DDTs. Azrael.
Steve Martin putting the boots to Rick Michaels as David Young and Terry Knight, old Sparky, shall we say. I was one time given sympathy for Terry Knight, not anymore, I'm sorry. Oh, just dropping the knee, just crotching Rick Michaels on the charging knee of Terry Knight.
And Martin truly has assembled an army here.
Martin is among the most ruthless sadists that I've ever seen in any company, pro wrestling and otherwise. The hatred he has, look at his face. I guess you can call that a face.
It's the wrestling business. I think, Stephen, it really has driven him over the edge. He was once the friendly local promoter, Steve Martin, Chance Williams as he was known.
Couldn't even figure out his own name.
He was an honest man. He was loved and revered by everyone here in the town. He was the guy that people turned to when they needed help. I think it is the wrestling business, the pressures that come with being a major player in the wrestling business that have driven Steve Martin to the brink of near insanity.
Yeah, look, he's complete lunatic. He has gone completely loopy. He's shouting the name of, when he was calling the match with me, he was shouting the name of Scotty Wren over and over. For somebody who is technically no longer with NWA Wildside, he seems to be obsessed with the ticking time bomb, Scotty Wren. But right now, eyes have to be peeled on Rick Michaels and the Lost Boys, having been destroyed by now the returning Terry Young, literally 2 weeks after Freedom Fight and being burned in that Infernal Damnation match. Terry Knight still among the living, and the Lost Boys and Rick Michaels have paid the price for just that. That's a damn shame, Dan.